What's up, y'all? It's Jonathan Rollins here to update you on the latest from this father-son trip across the U.S. with me and my boy Bash. My kind of town, Chicago is. I was really excited about this leg of the trip. Chicago is one of my favorite cities in the U.S. and I was glad to be able to show it to Bash. My dad's from Chicago. I have memories from my dad and his family from growing up. So I'm pretty biased when I say it's one of my favorite cities because people from Chicago are very proud. I've heard about all the celebrities that are from there, the music there, big buildings, pizza, the barbecue, everything I heard about Chicago was how great it is. And being that I spent some time there as a kid, the second city, as they call Chicago, was my second home. I have so many fond memories there, and one of them is my uncle, Michael. He was always the cool uncle. He was laid back, he was fun. He always had the latest video games. Like, he actually had a Sega Genesis. It was Michael's Sega Genesis that I learned about Joe Montana football, and I learned about Altered Beast. Power up! And to this day, he's still the only person I ever knew that had the laser disc player. I remember seeing his gold disc of Scarface. Only person I ever met that had one. I'm sure he probably had the first DVD as well. And I was glad Bash was gonna meet Michael. He's gonna meet Jody as well, Michael's wife. Jody's my mother's cousin, and she was always fun. She'd come around, hang out with my mom and with my aunt, and they would joke and have a good time, and her and my aunt would go out to clubs or whatever they did. And I remember Jody was always made up very nicely. She was a woman I saw that put makeup on and made herself very presentable all the time. That's what I always associated with Jody and Renee, my aunt. My sister had kept in touch with both Jody and Michael. She found out they were both single. She introduced them, and they've been married for 18 years now. So my mother's cousin married my father's brother, and now she's my auntie cousin. I've never seen Jody in Chicago, so this will be interesting for me. But we arrived at a house after a 10-hour drive from South Dakota. Jody asked me on my way that I want some fried chicken. Of course I want some fried chicken. She made fried chicken, cabbage, and rice. We get there, I got some good soul food. Oh my goodness. Bash was in good spirits. He saw Mike, their son, and Mike is 16, so of course Bash was looking up to him. And Mike, just like his father, likes video games. So Bash was in heaven. They introduced me to this drink that Jody calls junk juice, and it's sweet tea, flavored sweet tea, and ginger ale. Sounds disgusting, but it was delicious, and I am now a fan of junk juice. Thank you, Michael. And Michael said he mixes everything, man. Why not? He said it with such confidence. I mix everything. I mix Fruit Loops and Raisin Bran, like whatever you do, you just mix it up, see if it works. And if it works, it's great sometimes. I like that, Michael. Their house was big and it was warm and it felt safe. There wasn't a hotel or camping vibe here. So we were like at home on this road trip. But we ate some delicious food, and then Bash played some age-appropriate video games.
Want to see how my attack ends?
That's perfect for you, Bash. Oh, finish him, Bash.
Alright, I'm gonna finish him because I already did.
And we got some good sleep that night in preparation for our trip into the big city. Ate some pancakes and bacon and eggs. Like, come on, thank you, Jody, jeez. I had spent a few years of my life in Chicago, but I had never done the touristy thing. I have to mention Michael's car. I had never heard of the Genesis. I had never seen a car like this. You can put the turn signal on and then the camera comes on showing you what's behind live. They had a screen on the dashboard that showed a three-dimensional view of the car and cars around it. It was pretty cool. And then Michael, to show off, he took his hand off the steering wheel, feet off the pedals, and let the car change lanes on its own. Yes, the car was a self-driving vehicle. I'm like, dude, you can go out for drinks after work and just let the car take you home. This was pretty dope, and it was very on brand for Michael, who's always been into the latest in technology. Chicago was still Chicago. Huge buildings, you gotta lean back to take it all in. We walked over to the famed Navy Pier. Bash saw this ride he wanted to get on. And for some reason, I was like, I don't feel like that's safe. It was like some swings that were just going around. And I like rides and stuff, but I was more into the Centennial Wheel. A slow Ferris wheel takes you around and gives you great views of the city. We got to look around. Jody was scared, but we were up there taking some good pictures. Bass is just having good fun, and we enjoyed the Centennial Wheel. And it was a foggy day too, so that was also cool to see like the clouds basically hugging the tall buildings of Chicago. And then Michael was pointing out, he works downtown, he was pointing out all of the important buildings. He's like, there's the Sears Tower, There's the John Hancock, and then we gave a middle finger to Trump's building, you know, as you do. We walked over to the Birmingham fountain, which is the fountain that they show at the beginning of Married with Children. I took pictures like a straight up tourist. I don't mind, I am a straight up tourist, you know? We bumped into some nice police officers. I didn't know what to expect, but I saw these cops. I was like, we're here from Sweden. Do y'all mind taking a picture with my son? And they were like, a picture, we'll do you one better. They had that Chicago accent. Come over here, you can get in the car and take a couple pictures like that. That's my Chicago accent. They let Bash get in the car and they let him play with the sirens and stuff.
Oh, you could choose which sound? Oh, wow. Shake his hand, Bash, say thank you.
They even gave Bash a badge that he thought was so cool. He called his mom immediately. It was the middle of the night, woke her up to tell her all about his interaction with the Chicago PD. We checked out the bean. I knew about the bean. I thought it would be underwhelming, but it was great. It's a bean, and it's this metal, but it's really, really cool, and you can get some good shots of the city as well off of the bean, which I did, and going under and looking up, and it's just so, it was interesting. How did they make it? Did they know it was gonna be this popular once they made it? Like, this is, we did it, the bean. Like, it's a bean, it looks like a big kidney bean, I don't know. Bash was loving it all. Him and Jody had become fast friends. I think he had been looking for that maternal figure, being on the road with Daddy all this time. But we were exhausted after all the walking, and we decided to head back home and relax. And Bash actually asked for an extra day in Chicago. I was like, really? We're supposed to hit the road, buddy. What about Zoe? You wanna see Zoe? He's like, yeah, I'd like to stay here an extra day. So we did that. We stayed an extra day in Chicago with my uncle and my auntie cousin. So we did it. And we had us a lazy Sunday. Just hung out with them. Michael has some old robots that Mike used to play with when he was younger. Bash found those and had so much fun with those. And Jody has made some good beef and broccoli. Man, she can cook, man. I didn't know this about Jody. All I knew about Jody was in her party days, but I didn't know she could cook like this. That beef and broccoli was banging. And then to end the night, we ended this on the most wonderful note for me. They have this thing they do where they watch $100,000 Pyramid. It's a game show, and normally it's pre-recorded, and then one person looks away from the screen and the other gives out clues and sees if they can get them to guess it in a good time.
Feel bad about doing something, you say, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, sorry, yes.
You're in the military, man. You're a soldier? Yes.
Did we march? Soldier? Yes. You wear this.
You wear this big Mexican hat.
Okay. Yes.
It was so wholesome. It's the most wholesome thing I saw on this whole trip. Seeing my uncle and his son, his teenage son, together playing this game. And then they invited me in to play the game as well. So I would do some guessing myself, looking away from the TV, and I would give clues. I'm really good at stuff like that, by the way. It was just such a nice way to end, and such a family thing to do. I felt like it was the best way possible to end this trip. Hanging out in front of the TV and playing this cool, wholesome game with my uncle and my little cousin, Mike. I won't forget this moment. I felt like it was something good for me that I needed too. This slice of real family and real home that I had in Chicago, a place I hadn't been to since I was 13 years old. I was glad for this leg of the trip. We winded down, went to sleep, and it's time to hit the road again. Finally, for Bash to see his cousin Zoe. Stay tuned. Thanks for checking this video out, and I hope you keep following me on this journey, because the rest of this trip is gonna be with the entire family, because Sandra, my wife, who I've been separated from for too long now, is gonna meet us in Maryland, and we'll continue this road trip together as a family. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you next time on the next leg of Bash and Daddy's road trip across the USA. Peace.